Hey,
We are live, Marty. Oh, thousands of
what's
people in
happening,
here.
brother?
Great to
What's
see you.
happening, brother?
Um,
Yeah, great to see you too, man. Where are you anyway?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Man, it's great to see you again, man. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's I'm so happy to have you here. And the last time I saw you virtually was 2 months ago when we was talking about this campaign, and it's I can't believe it's been 2 months. It's crazy.
So what's happened? What's happened in the campaign since I've talked to you last?
We managed to get pretty much almost $60,000 to Jason.
Wow. How does it work? I mean, people donate through this. All I see is a chat with like tons of people saying hello and what's up, everybody out there? Happy birthday. How do people donate? That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, there's a link on my page, and also if you want the link there on the chat, press the type in exclamation mark donate, and you got all the information. Or you can go to jasonbecker.com fundraiser. You can donate directly there. Here it goes directly to Jason, but we get a little alert so I can call you guys out. If you guys throwing $100 in the donation, I'm gonna read your name out for sure. And we've been
That's
doing
so cool.
yeah, we've been doing that for I guess 2 months now. Um, and it's been crazy. We had a lot of amazing guitar players, lots of special guests, and here we are. The fans been amazing. They've been watching the show, and we haven't even sold a single guitar yet. So this is really cool.
Man, it's so cool. I mean, all this love for Jason, and man, I'm so glad that you asked me to do this thing because I'm really excited in any way that can bring attention to Jason and his music. And man, that new record, that it's not new anymore, but his album is so cool. And just I can't imagine having all of those guitar players on one song and then having to mix that thing. That must have been such an insane project. It really blows my mind.
Yeah, and there's so many people. There's about 11,000 people now. So if you guys just join us, we are raising money for the incredible guitar player
Look,
composer
Daniel,
Jason Becker. And here we are. We have
don't
Marty
die.
Friedman, longtime friend and former bandmate, you know, of Jason Becker. And I do have a message here from Jason, and I believe he's watching us right now. So hi, Jason. I
What's
got
up, Jason?
I,
Shape me, brother.
I got a message for you. I haven't read that. Marty. I haven't read this out to anyone yet. So this is from Jason. I'm reading out his message. Hey, Herman, Nyla, who's my wife, Marty, and all the fantastic players doing so much for me and my family. I love and appreciate you all beyond words. Marty, you were the perfect older brother, friend, and teacher back in the day. You somehow shared all your wisdom while allowing my creativity to blossom. It was quite amazing how you did that so easily. We still have that kind of relationship musically and personally. You are the greatest friend and teacher I could have ever asked for. I love you, brother. I'm feeling a bit stronger now, and I'm hoping to be able to check you out tonight with Herman and hear some Jason stories myself. Love and gratitude to everyone for your prayers and support, Jason.
Hey, you're getting me all misty right from the beginning, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, man. What can I say? I mean, of course, this whole thing is a big Jason love fest. And once I start talking about Jason, it's just going to be a bigger love fest. I mean, where shall we start? What are we going to do? Are we going to talk? We're going to jam. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but let's start with like telling some Jason stories or something.
Yeah, I mean, how you guys met? I actually don't know, and I'm a big fan of you and Jason. I don't even know the story how you guys even met in the beginning.
Okay, well, how we met was I was going to do a solo album, my very first solo album for Shrapnel Records, and this was like way early in the career of Shrapnel Records. There were not a whole lot of records out, and I was pumped to do my own solo record. This was going to be the biggest thing. I worked so hard on it and really concentrated. I wanted to make a really good first solid statement. I was focused. I was concentrated. All was good. And I was almost finished with it, with writing it. And then one day I got a call from Mike Varney, and he was like, you got to check out this 16-year-old kid, plays guitar. He's really good. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. And I was like, whatever. I really didn't want to know about it. I was just focused on my own thing. And he says, dude, you really got to check this guy out. And like he did, like probably all your other friends who are talking about Mike Varney, he was famous for playing guys over the phone to other guitar players and getting their opinion. He'd like, how's this guy? This guy's awesome. And but this time, Jason, he didn't want to play him over the phone. He wanted to send him over to my apartment in San Francisco. And I'm like, really? It's the last thing I need is to hear some 16-year-old kid. I'm writing the opus, my greatest achievement. This is my big thing. But then again, Mike Varney was the guy who's going to put it out. So I didn't want to make any waves. I didn't want to like, become like a diva or anything. So I'm like, okay, send the guy over to my house. I'll just listen to him and get rid of him. This guy comes over to my house, Jason does, and I forgot if he brought a little amp or I had like tiny little practice amps. The second he came in the door, I fell in love with the guy. It was like a bromance. It was almost gay. That's how much we loved each other right off the bat. Nothing like that happened at the beginning. No, but seriously, folks, he came in the house. He had this little demo tape that I think Varney sent to me. And to be honest with you, it had a couple of neat ideas, but it didn't really have anything that turned me on very much. But I was just trying to humor Mike Varney. But when he came into my house, he had a guitar and maybe a little practice amp. He came into my apartment. He was like 16, and really he had the aura of a 16-year-old, and I was like, in my early 20s maybe, and I had been around a lot more, and he was like so young and just like a little kid. But then when he played the guitar, it just flowed out of him so nicely. But that's okay. But the thing that really impressed me about his guitar playing was the fact that I would throw these lines out at him and he would like play them right back to me. And I was not playing like simple lines that are easy to understand. I mean, I was just as twisted back then as I am now, as far as coming up with unorthodox things, because before I moved up to San Francisco, I was living in Hawaii and had all kinds of warped influences that we can talk about later. But there were a lot of very unorthodox things that not a lot of guys can pick up right away without being explained, without explaining every little thing. But I'd play a phrase and Jason would play it back. And then I'd play another phrase and Jason would play it back. And then we would jam and he would just take these new things that he'd just seen for like the first time, I'm sure, and kind of use them as like little motifs in what we were doing. It's like, how the hell does this guy pick this stuff up so quickly? And so I was impressed with that. But then what I was really impressed with, it was just such a cool dude. I mean, it was just a regular guy. He didn't have the ego that most of the guitar players who I knew that were like decent players, they had big egos. And I probably had somewhat of an ego myself, but Jason had none of that. It's like he didn't have like the band experience. He didn't have all of the, I've been in band since I was 14. And so I had all of like, the adulation and all of the people like blowing sunshine up my skirt all the time. So like, even when I sucked, people told me I was good. And so I had enough of a warped thing from that, but Jason didn't have any of that. He just had the goods. He could play and he was so just nice about it. And I fell in love with him because of his playing, his personality. and we were both like into sports and into football, and we just like clicked. It's like I never really had a friend that I could play my kind of music with before. So it really kind of like set off like a lot of light bulbs. I'm like, well, this is supposed to be a solo album. I don't know why I'm meeting this guy right here, right now. But like, if I were to ever play this stuff live, I can't think of anybody else who'd be able to do all the harmonies and things that I'm doing, because I had a lot of stacked up harmonies and layers and stuff. And if I were to ever play it live, it would be hell to like teach some other guitarist, how to play this stuff. There's a lot of good guys back then, but all of the good guys back then, they had like a lot of the typical Guitar Hero techniques down, but they didn't understand weird things and unorthodox things. They had like all kinds of 8-finger tapping and all of these, crazy arpeggios and things like that, but they didn't understand melody sense. And even though Jason was very inexperienced, he understood melody sense right away. And I think he jumped into my party so quickly that he tried to really impress me with not his fingering and his dexterity, but with his grasp of musical concepts. And that blew my mind. And I said, well, if I'm going to form a band to play this stuff live, I want this guy in it. And I just want to hang out with this guy. So I'm like, well, my record is almost done, but like maybe I can think of a way to slide you in there, and maybe you can come up with some ideas, and maybe we can write some stuff together. And he got excited, and I got excited, and he came to my apartment many, many times. And even though a lot of it was written like stuff like Speed Metal Symphony and stuff like that, I would say, dude, you've got some cool patterns and some cool melodies and some cool things. Let's stick them into my thing, and let's work this all out and get you in here. And so I just remember sitting on my roof with him, and we would just play Speed Metal Symphony over and over and over again. And it was just really fun because I never had anybody to be able to do that with. I've played with a lot of really good guitarists, but there was never really anybody who I thought I could grow with and who I could, admire right away. And then Jason was that guy. And boy, did he blossom quickly, man. It was a joke. I mean, if you listen to the first Cacophony record, a lot of that stuff, it was kind of my direction, and he added a lot of things, but it was he was playing a lot of my harmonies, and he was still like just kind of getting in there. But on the second Cacophony record, he had already like come into his own completely, and just became a whole new entity within the course of like maybe a year. And so it was kind of a joke to watch this kind of progress. So that's how I met Jason. That's how we started. And it's a really nice story to recollect, and to see the music that he's come up with since then is just mind-blowing. So I'm sure I left out a lot of funny stuff, but that's the basic idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, during this campaign, we played a lot of old footage from the Cacophony days of U2, and U2 were just incredible. I mean, you guys were playing extremely difficult stuff, but the movement, the showmanship was, honestly, I've never seen someone like Jason, the way he's moving. He's like doing this stuff all over the place and playing perfectly. I mean, that was crazy to look at now.
Yeah, I mean, we knew right away that just playing guitar stuff was not really going to be enough to entertain people. And if you look at us, I mean, look at the photos, look at the album covers. It didn't look like what we sounded like. I mean, we wanted to look like Poison or something like that. And it was really a smart move, because if we did that, when we did tours and gigs like that, around that time, we would get, the same kind of coverage as those kind of Motley Crue and Poison bands that were really huge at the time. And we get the same fans, which means there was tons of chicks there. And let's face it, that's why we're in it. You know, we can play guitar for ourselves, but we're all in it for the chicks. And so our image was perfect because when we played out there, it was like you'd expect, if you just listen to the music, you'd expect it to be a bunch of guitar players out there standing like this. And there were some, and we loved those guys very much as well. But like a lot of girls came out, and like you probably know what I'm talking about. When you're playing in front of guys and when you're playing in front of girls, you play differently. You move differently. Your body moves differently. You have a different outlook, a different goal. You have a different complete image and aura. And so Jason and I love that. And if you look at the band, I mean, look at our drummer and bass player. I mean, we were all just like one step away from being the next, you know, whoever the biggest glam band was at the time. We looked like a glam band and we carried that off. And in spirit, we really were. But the music was just what Jason and I were doing, which was really kind of far away from glam rock and stuff like that. So we got to do what we wanted and play what we wanted, but the movements and stuff, and like Jason play with a yo-yo, and I don't know if he would have done that if it would have been only guys in the audience, you know. If it's all girls, you feel a little bit less inhibited, I guess. So we did that thing, you know, where I'm picking his guitar and he's picking mine, and we're fretting each other's guitars and that type of thing. And we love doing that, and it's a lot easier than it looks. But we would always constantly try to think of those things. And there's one part in the set where I would get up on his shoulders and he'd walk me around. I think AC/DC did something like that as well.
Oh, wow.
But we were kind of always trying to be entertaining, even at the risk of not playing perfectly accurate. And it worked for us, and we enjoyed ourselves very, very much. And a lot of times, you know, like girls would show up, and girls don't listen to the music. You know what I mean? They just look at you. They just look at you, and they really don't care much about the music. And times are different now, so don't rag on me in the comments. But it's true. I mean, girls have a completely different way of absorbing music, and if you entertain them, they will open their minds to a lot of different kinds of music. If you don't entertain them, they're not going to say, oh, well, now I understand this music and I really love it. You've got to like catch them with something. You've got to entertain them and kind of make them a little bit happy. And that's what Jason and I did, and the whole band did. I mean, all of that hair flipping and stuff, you know, that's not your typical guitar nerd type of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we love to do all that thing. But I remember something back to Jason, like when it comes to that, when we first started our first gig together, I think it's somewhere on YouTube. Somebody has sent me a bootleg of this video, and I have it. We did this big show at the NAMM show, and I think it was the first gig we ever played live. And Jason didn't know how to move really so much. He was like just walking from one side of the stage to the other. He'd walk to the middle and then walk to the left, walk to the middle, walk to the right, just like turning around, like doing U-turns, just walking to one place, playing, walking to another, constantly doing that. And it was like he was walking through the forest trying to find his way around, and it was just so adorable. And eventually, once you start doing more gigs, you start to find out, okay, I look like a dork when I'm doing this, or I look cool when I'm doing this. And we both found little things that were fun, you know, and in certain parts where you stand across from each other and it looks cool. And I'm sure you've done tons of stuff in your band. Your band does a lot of really crazy things, but it comes from like finding fun things to do. And we would just do really goofy stuff. Like we both used to wear this Minnie Mouse stuff. We used to like wear these watches that they gave away at Burger King, these like rubber Minnie Mouse watches, and we'd wear the same sweatshirts. And it was like Japanese couples back in those days, you know what I mean? The pair look, they call it in Japan. But we did that, you know, we really loved each other from the bat. And we had no shame about doing that kind of stuff that's really, really lame when you think about it. But it was really cute, and we were into that. And I think we liked it because it was a contrast to what our music was. We would be like ripping off Stravinsky licks and taking these Philip Glass motifs and making songs around them, but doing all this really goofy, lame stuff just because it was fun. And so that was a big thing for us. And Jason and I both grew a lot in having fun and presenting ourselves in the show and not taking ourselves too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, watching those videos definitely shows how you two like so connected mentally together, playing, having fun, not really caring what people think, And it's crazy because honestly, the music isn't easy to play, and usually music that technical, like leads, people do like to concentrate and they're more static. So I was like, when I saw that, I thought, man, this is just insane. Just the level of playing you guys are doing. I mean, it's amazing. Look, I'm being a fanboy now. I wear.
I love that shirt, man.
Yeah. That is amazing. So I wonder. So I know there's a lot of questions, but you guys in chat gotta let me do my questions that I always wanted to ask first. Is how many gigs did you guys play in Cacophony in the end? You think?
Well, I think the first thing we did was we did a couple of NAMM shows. And I'm just going to rattle off stories as they go. I remember we only fought about two things. We only had two little fights, and they weren't really fights. But I mentioned NAMM show, and these things are just popping in my head. The first NAMM show that we did, I'll get to your question though. I haven't forgot it.
Sure.
It was the first NAMM show, and we were going there for Hurricane Guitars, and it was kind of a big deal because it was first endorsement for both of us, and he wanted to bring his girlfriend, and I'm like, dude, no way, you're not bringing your girlfriend down to the NAMM show. She's just going to get in the way. Trust me. He's like, no, man, I really want to bring my girlfriend. Please, please, please. I mean, she was a cool girl. I liked her. I think she was like either a student of mine or a student of his or both. But he had this girlfriend. He was really hell-bent on bringing her to the NAMM show. And I was like a couple of years older than him. So I had to like make an executive decision and say, dude, she's not coming. Forget about it. And I think that's probably how it worked out. But I just thought it was like so weird. Why would you want to bring your girlfriend anyway? Because there's going to be tons of other chicks there.
You thought that's kind of uncool to do that, right?
It's uncool, and like rock stars don't bring their girlfriends around. I'm like trying to like give them a little bit of rock school 101 there. And plus it just doesn't make us look good. We got to like look like a rad unit. We can't have like some girl hanging around us, not with your girlfriend. So I think he was a little upset about that. And but I explained it to him, and I think he got it right away. I mean, you got to understand, the guy had not done tours or gigs or any of that stuff before. And the NAMM show is important for like a guitar player, especially back then. So we were going to have business meetings and do all that and schmoozing and all of that lame stuff that you have to do. It's work. So it's just going to take your attention away from where it needs to be. So there was that. And the only one other thing we ever argued about was on the song Go Off. There's a song Go Off. Mm-hmm. And Jason has this beautiful solo at the end of it. It's just beautiful. Just a gorgeous solo. And we were recording it. And at the end of the solo, he ended it with this dive bomb on the guitar. It's like, you know, those things where end it. He had this beautiful singing note at the end, and then he went, wow, and ended it like that. I'm like, dude, you had this beautiful solo. Why do you want to like put that cheesy bar thing in there. It's like, dude, no, I love it. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. Oh, come on. And this, we were like both producing the record together. So it wasn't like one guy had a final say. This was the only thing we ever had like a disagreement about. I'm like, dude, please trust me. This is just gorgeous. You're making this beautiful statement and you're ending it with this thing that every guitar player on earth does. You don't need to do that. Listen to how beautiful this is. He's like, no, I love it. It's great. And so, well, dude, it's your part. You're going to have to live with it and you love it. That's all that matters. And like when someone loves their part, there's really there's no other opinion that matters. You know, I was in love with the part myself. It wasn't my part. I was in love with his part. I saw it my way. He saw it his way, and it was his part. So I'm like, okay, dude, it's your part. Those are the only two things that we ever like even squibbled about. That was really it. And pretty minor stuff if you consider, how long we've been friends. So
and
that
how
was
many
that.
solos
So
on the album? How many solos are there? So
never any of that stuff. We never had those type of things. As a matter of fact, we would both help each other in the recordings. Some things he was better at than I was, and some things I was better at than he was. And so, like, for example, one thing that he was way better at than I was like articulating of like difficult rhythmic patterns. So like if there was a really tricky rhythm pattern, I could do it, but it would take maybe X number of takes, 5, 6, 7 takes to get it done. And if I knew he could get the same thing done in one take, I'm like, dude, take my guitar, play it. Because we were like on a budget, we were on a time thing. And so like sometimes when you need that little, when you're doubling things and tripling things on especially on rhythm, if it's a tricky rhythm, I just want it perfect. I don't care who plays it. I don't care if the janitor plays it. So I had him play some of those little rhythm parts and tighten them up. And for me, especially at that point, I was way more versed in improvising than he was. So if he was doing an ad-lib solo, it's like, dude, I really don't have a good ending for this solo. I would come in and bang out the ending in one take. And, I'd use his guitar and I'd try not to do too much Marty-ish stuff. I would do stuff that fit with what he did. End of solo, done. Or middle section of a solo. I love this great solo, but this one section is kind of lame and I'm not following the chords and it just sounds wanking or whatever. I always had like, that's one thing that I can do. I can always come up with an idea. Mm-hmm. And so that's how we helped each other out. So he had his strengths and I had my strengths. And neither of us had any bones about asking the other to fix things. And actually, being lazy, as most people are, I would much prefer someone else to do something that's difficult. So if this is going to get done in one take rather than 7 takes, I want that guy to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I've done that several times over my career with other guys, especially when it comes with acoustic backing parts. I can do them and they're fine, but one of my guitar techs was a acoustic master. And when I was doing Tokyo Jukebox 2, I remember he was in the studio. I'm like, dude, play this part, get it done. And like, gets done in 1-2 takes where I could do like, 7, 8 takes and get the exact same performance. It's usually with the backing parts, when it's a front and center thing, I tend to want something that sounds really like me, but when it's a backing part, I just want it played properly. So often there's someone who's much more confident and much more versatile at that than I am. So Jason and I both understood that right away. You delegate parts to someone who's good at that, and having Jason around to delegate parts to was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I loved it. It's like, dude, I'm having a problem with this part. Can you play it? And Jason would be like, yeah, I'll play it. And he just nails it. And so that was, I loved having him around for that. But to your question of touring, we did a bunch of NAMM show stuff. We did a bunch of like guitar seminar clinic things. And then we did a Japan tour and an American tour. And the Japan tour must have been like about 10 shows, maybe not that many, maybe 7 or 8 shows. And we did an American tour, which was maybe about 25, 30 shows. And both of those tours were just friggin' insane. In Japan, you know, it left a big mark on me because it was my first time in Japan. So I had no idea what to expect. And they treated us really nicely, even though we were like, you know, on Indies label. We weren't on any kind of major label or anything, but they treated us really well. And the staff was really professional. Usually if you're on an Indies label and you tour like in America and Europe, it's really, really hellish. It's really hard, you know, and you're playing crappy venues that stink and no one knows how to run anything and things don't work and it just sucks. But when we went to Japan, we were Indies, but the venues were clean. The things were run like clockwork. It was so well organized that it left a big impression on me. But American tour is when Jason and I both really grew up. I mean, you go to a tour and you're away from home and you're away from girlfriends and things happen and you become what people think that you're going to become. And I just have such wonderful memories of watching people enjoy Jason's playing and our band, because our band was friggin' amazing. And I remember Jason had this wonderful guitar solo where he would play a Disney theme, Wish Upon a Star, and then he'd use his yo-yo and just people went ape shit. And I'm like, dude, play a longer solo, because when he was playing the solo, the people were loving it. And I was like backstage hitting on chicks the whole entire time. The longer he would play, nobody minded because his playing was just so beautiful. And I just loved hearing that in the background. And I knew when he was going to end. So I was just like planning the night's entertainment for after the show during his solo. And I just loved doing that. And it was just such a fun period of time. And hopefully, I'm sure he was doing the same thing during mine. I mean, I did quite a long solo myself. And, to get that kind of, action, that kind of rock feeling out of what we were doing musically was just kind of fun for us because we didn't look like what we sounded like. And I just remember, being with Jason and see, because it was really big for him, his really first big tour, and I'd played in bands when I was much younger, so I knew that kind of stuff, but it was different. We were on a little, it wasn't a tour bus, it was a van with a trailer. Mm-hmm. And then we'd we just wind up having one hotel room for the entire band, and no one would stay in it because we'd all stay at people's houses, chicks' houses, anyone who would put us up, and we'd say, okay, let's meet at the mall in St. Louis tomorrow morning at 10. And then we would just do whatever we did all night long after the show. And we'd show up bleary-eyed and wherever we meet at the hotel or wherever. And then we drive to the next city, and it was just a very carefree and wonderful experience.
Yeah, thank you for this amazing stories. People in chat is loving it. All you 18,000 plus people there, thank you for joining us for this Jason Becker fundraiser with, of course, Marty Friedman here. Wow, there's so many people here. I just, we really thank you so much for coming to support this tonight's show. It's I gotta say, was it, when Jason landed the David Lee Roth gig, you guys technically haven't really played that many shows. You think about it, bands these days play way more tours, and you guys, we talk about your 50 something 60 shows. That's not a lot, and you guys are really at a high level already. That's pretty crazy to know that.
Yeah, I mean, we played some, but you got to remember, for Jason it was even less, because I was in a band called Deuce I joined when I was 14, and I was in that band for 3 years, and we toured up and down the East Coast quite a bit. And actually, I got a lot of the rock star itis out of my system during those days, because when you're 15 and 16 and you're partying and people are just like, you can do anything and people just think you're better than you really are, and it gets to your head. So I had a wonderful, wonderful period of time and just partying, showing up hungover and playing and having a great time. And by the time I was 17, I was like, well, this is not going to get me too far, although I love it. I really straightened up. And but Jason didn't have that buffer time. So he just had a couple of Cacophony tours, and then suddenly he was in the real big leagues. Of course, he deserved to be there even without the Cacophony tour, because he just was born with this wonderful gift and cultivated it and worked very hard to get that gift really great. But we didn't have much, he didn't have much history before getting that gig.
Wow. So this is one of the Hurricane guitars from your from the Jason Becker's early days. I actually got this Speed Metal Symphony one at the back. Should we play some music? What do you reckon?
Up to you. You going to play that guitar?
I am going to play this guitar.
I'll tell you something about this guitar, and I hope no one I don't know if is Hurricane still a company?
No. So you can say anything you want.
This was our first endorsement. And this was our first endorsement. And we were just happy to get any endorsement. Really, all we wanted was a sound page in Guitar Player magazine. We eventually got it, but it was with Carvin. These Hurricane guitars, they sent us a couple of guitars. The ones that Jason got were really, really, really good. I don't know why. I don't know how. They were great. And he played them on the records. I don't know the details, but I know he played that blue guitar a lot on the recording. And I think he had a white one they're really, really good. They sent me a couple black guitars and they sucked. I wouldn't even bother playing a note. Not one note was played on any of those guitars in any of my records. Don't know why. But dude, sometimes you got to like bite the bullet to move one step up a little bit higher, especially when you're just starting. And they wined and dined us, took us out to dinner. And I was practically homeless at the time. So I was just very happy to be fed. And here's guys giving you free guitars. And they're telling me we're going to do ads and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to promote this and that. So I was on board completely, even though the guitars stunk. And then Jason had a couple of really great guitars. That guitar is really, really good. He did all of that rad recording on it. Then we get to the NAMM show and we're playing in their booth. And I don't think we played our own guitars. We just like took guitars off the wall. And they were just so horrible. They just wouldn't stay in tune and sounded so bad. And I couldn't believe that we had to play these crappy guitars in front of people. And this was like our big trade show, and everybody's wanting to hear us play these, cacophony like guitar playing and all this kind of stuff. And these guitars were not coming to the party. But Jason's blue guitar and the white guitar were really, really fantastic.
Well, they wine and dine you, right? You had no choice. You had to.
Yeah, man. I mean, they wined us and dined us for sure. I remember they took us to a nice restaurant, and I'd probably never been to a nice restaurant before. So I'm like, wow, this is the first step. And I thought it was really cool. And the people were fantastic, but just the guitar, or maybe it was just me. Maybe a craftsman never blames his tools, I always say. So maybe it was just me. Maybe I just sucked, but I just know that Jason's guitars were really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this, I mean, it shows that he played this guitar a lot, because the whole neck is, completely worn out at the back. You can see from the fingers, it's like a million arpeggios or licks being played on this.
Yeah, he played that. All of his albums were done on that or the other white. I don't remember him having another guitar. I could be wrong, but those are great guitars. For whatever reason, they're really solid instruments, what he has.
Yeah, so these are, of course, they're going to go in an auction. the 2 Hurricane guitars and the numbered guitar here. We're gonna have that news for you very soon, but it'll be a very special auction. So if you want to get yourself, well, a collector legendary instrument of Jason Becker, this is your chance. Though the numbered guitar right now with $150,000 bid. So if you're interested, do get in touch. Go to jasonbecker.com and you can get in touch there on the pre-market bid. There you go. That's my salesman stuff. How am I as a guitar salesman? Pretty good, huh?
That's a good price.
Yeah, bargain. Total bargain. Yeah, you guys in chat, you guys can hear more stories, or we can play a bit guitar and talk more. I'll leave it up to chat as well. If you guys want to get involved here, to let me know you want to hear Marty tell us more stories, then we can carry on.
Well, let's jam, but let's maybe if somebody. Well, let's just jam, man. What do you want to jam on?
Let's get warmed up. Let's pick one of the backing track. We can do that D minor one that we did, just as a warm up. Do you want to do that one? The second track?
No idea what you're talking about. Whatever you play,
yeah,
I'll play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Put on the playlist. Let's start with that one.
I got to do it. Right. Shit.
Sorry. So you got to press that echo cancellation button, and then you got to run the track. And I will start first. So you know what we're playing. I know you. So Marty haven't heard these tracks. He hasn't practiced them. He's gonna, just play it by
which one?
ear.
Which one? What number?
Number 2, please.
Angry breakdown metalcore. Oh my God.
Neither of us listen to metalcore much, but we're gonna do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it for Jason.
Yeah. If you guys like what you're hearing, donate. You got the cancellation button.
You don't like what you're hearing, donate.
Original sound on.
Oh, so now I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to turn off. Here we go.
Yeah.
Check this out. Boom.
1, 2.
1, 2.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Rock it, brother.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Do you do a different track?
Oh, I got to do it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's do the next one. It's a little bit more up tempo, still in the same key. That'll get us nicely warmed up.
All right. Emotional modern metal. Is that the one?
Yeah, none of them make any sense, the titles.
All right, here we go. Ready?
I'll start, yeah.
They faded out on us.
Woohoo!
That's hilarious. It's like the backing tracks wanted us to stop, so they faded out.
It's like instead of doing a drum fill, just fade it like pop music.
That's hilarious.
I bet you never thought you'd be playing guitar with someone, playing this guitar across the internet.
It's really exciting to see, man. It's really exciting to see.
Yeah, so crazy.
Let's try something different, man. Those two songs were like essentially exactly the same.
Let's do number 5, something slow. Let's just cool it a bit. Like, that was the warm-up tracks, I call it. Just get the fingers flowing, get the blood moving.
All right, number 5. Here we go. Awesome. You want to do it?
You want to go start? Yeah.
That one faded out on us too.
It sounded great. Absolutely awesome playing.
Thanks, man. You too. Wonderful to hear you playing that guitar.
I know it's really crazy that I'm playing this guitar right now. Wow.
That's really, really nice. Really nice, man.
Why don't you tell us another story before we play some more? People really want to hear more beautiful stories from you, actually. Me too.
All right. It's funny, the stories don't go.
Oh, before you go,
gotta do my thing.
Can you hit that button, the echo button? Thank you.
How about that?
1, 2. That's better. Yeah.
1, 2. So I think the stories come a little bit easier when something, you know what I mean? So like maybe someone can ask me from the chat something about Jason or something about anything really, and I can start from there.
You guys got any questions about the old days? Something about the cacophony or the maybe I'm curious about so when you first was working on the album was Cacophony Speed Metal Symphony, how did you end up playing on each other's solo albums? What was the how did the Cacophony transition to solo albums for each of you?
We did Speed Metal Symphony, and then we did a bunch of trade shows and stuff, and Mike Varney got really excited, and we were all excited because if you think about it, that album really didn't sound like anything else at the time. Varney had a couple like a good Guitar Hero guys, but they were not as like sick as we were. He had like a lot of guys who were like, they play really brilliantly, but not doing stupid, crazy, noisy, sick, perverted things on the guitar. And so it just was different, and we sounded different. So Barney said, why not try a solo album each? And you can each, I don't really remember the reasoning, but we did it at the same studio, all at the same time. So we were working 24 hours a day. I was days and he was nights. And since I was producing both of them, I had to be there for both sessions. And it was really, really hellish. And actually, we were all there for all the sessions. But one thing I remember on Jason's Perpetual Burn record, he has a song called Air. Do you know that song?
Yes.
It's like it's clean. It's like a classical type of piece of music. And a lot of overdubs from Jason and a lot of really intricate playing. And I remember the engineer, Steve Fontana, one of my favorite people in the world, just a wonderful engineer and coolest guy ever. Steve Fontana was engineering and he was like super A-class pro level engineer. But when it gets to like a song like Air, there's all this intricate guitar playing for hours and hours and hours of really, all right, now you got to punch in on this 30-second note that comes right before this other 30-second note that's a half step flat. And it gets really tiring, especially if you're not a guitar player, and I'm not a guitar player who knows what the hell's going on. So I stepped in to start punching in on the tape machine because Steve Fontana was just like, dude, I'm trashed. I can't hear another 30-second note. My ears are not able to pick this stuff up. And these were the days, there's no Pro Tools. So if you don't punch out of record in time, you're going to erase something that could have been very, very difficult to record. So you got to get in time and get out in time. And that can be stressful after 12 hours of 16th notes and 32nd notes and odd polyrhythms and stuff. So I came in and I started working the tape machine for Jason. And he was playing Air and I was recording it and everything was going fine. It was just like the hours were adding up and adding up. Next thing you know, we both fell asleep. He was playing guitar and I was at the tape machine and we were both nodding off. We both fell asleep at the same time while we were recording Air. It was just such an intensive intensive piece of music that we both just fell asleep and we had to laugh because we were so exhausted by doing that. But we were both exhausted the entire time. We did both of those records in maybe about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, including mixing. And we were both there. It was, the studio was on a complex on a farm. So there was a place to live. There was a house, and there was a little house where we both lived in. And we got zero sleep. And by the end of the day, we were so trashed. I remembered that the only way we could get to sleep was to play Kitaro's music. And that's very soothing, quiet. It's the type of music that people get, not manicures, they get massages or whatever. It's very beautiful, very serene. So anyway, like, we used to listen to Kitaro and go to sleep because it was so soothing. But wonderful memories, and it was just a blur because we were recording all day and all night, and that's how those records happened.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, of course, those days, it's not like Pro Tools. Things are like. Do you think it's easier because you don't have that much option that you can just go in and play and accept it compared to technology now?
No. We would have loved Pro Tools. We would have loved it, but our engineers were really, really good. There was a guy named Dino Alden who did my Dragon's Kiss, and Steve Fontano who did Perpetual Burn. And these guys were tight. These guys were really, really good at understanding the crazy stuff that we were doing. We were doing what no one was really doing that before. There was a lot of guys playing fast, but it was always the same thing fast, always. We did these very intricate things that are very unorthodox, and those two engineers worked their asses off, and they had so much talent. So it's really because of them that we even got the records done. But we would have loved Pro Tools because oftentimes punching out is a problem. Sometimes you want to stay in longer because you think you can do a better take than what's there. But if there's something already there that you like, you don't want to risk. Maybe you can't do better than that. So what I love about Pro Tools is you can just keep going and keep trying to better yourself, and you always do better yourself. But back in the day, if you had a take that you thought was really good and you might not be able to better yourself, there's not enough time to take that risk. So we left a lot of things that I'm sure we would have fixed had it been Pro Tools. But we got a lot done considering there was no such concept of Pro Tools. And it just means that the playing has to be tighter and the engineering has to be way tighter. Mm-hmm. Now it's like in engineering, you can like totally mess up a punch and still be fine. But back then, an engineer makes one bad erase and he's going to be fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. Hey, since there's like 21,000 people here, I want to say if you guys just joined us, we're here for the Jason Becker fundraiser, and all donations on this channel, all the bits, the virtual bits, the dollar donation, everything goes to Jason Becker for his fight against ALS. And Jason is the longest living person with ALS for more than 30 years. So all donations, all proceeds goes to Jason Becker. Thank you for everyone who donated. There's been so many donations, I can't read them all out. I tried in the past, and I realized you just hear me jumble a bunch of names and dollars. So
thank you very much. It's just so wonderful. It's so wonderful that you're doing this for Jason. And we are all hoping and praying that there's going to be some kind of miracle cure someday so he can play that blue guitar and not you. And anyone, and not the person who buys it in the auction. Nothing wrong with the way you played it. You played it beautifully. Let me say that. You played it beautifully. But even not that guitar, because I want someone to win that guitar in the auction. When Jason plays again, I want him to play another fantastic guitar. But if anyone is going to stick out for this thing to get him better miraculously, it's Jason. And we want him to continue making more beautiful music, whatever condition he's in. The Triumphant Hearts record is such a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. I was honored to play a little bit of guitar on that thing. Forget about what a wonderful person he is. It's the music also that we want to continue and to continue to grow, because he's grown so much over all of his entire career, despite, situations that none of us can really relate to. And I just want to see that continue to grow. And I just want to see Jason continue to grow. And you never know, we could be one day away from that magical thing that happens. And, things happen these days, and crazy good things can happen these days. And Jason's ready for it. He's here and he's ready for it. So every little thing that you do that to help, it's just one little step closer to getting that miracle, that we're all just, I have so many dreams. I have dreams that Jason is just like jamming with me or something, or jamming with someone. And it comes in my dreams and stuff. And it's so normal. So this is just what I'm waiting for. And we're all waiting for it. And, so having you guys, everybody in the comments here, it's so heartwarming for me to see, and just to keep whatever it is you're doing, because it's just a wonderful thing you're doing. Even if it's just a little tiny bit, it's just a wonderful thing. And I'm ready for Jason to come back and play with us. And even if he can't, even if he's just creating music the way he's still doing it, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's keep supporting him.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
I know, maybe you want to play a track for Jason yourself, right? From one of your songs.
Yeah.
You want to, maybe that's a good time to do it now.
All right,
like to do
let's
that?
do that.
Great.
All right. This song is a song called For a Friend that I wrote about friends in general. I mean, a lot of people hear the song and they think about Jason, or maybe they think about Nick Menza, or maybe they think about other friends. But in actuality, I wrote the song for friends in general, because I think, especially for guys, it's really kind of difficult to let your friends know how exactly you feel. Girls can, they send lovey-dovey texts to each other, and they grab each other's arm when they're hanging out in the clubs, and they're all over each other. But guys don't really have that available to them, and guys have to be macho, and guys have to be cool, and it's very awkward and not easy to really tell guys, your friends, how you feel about them. Although we have the same feelings that girls do. We want to say that, the people around us are important. And we want to say, I appreciate that you're here. I appreciate that you're my friend. I appreciate your existence. And, not a lot of guys say that to each other, myself included. Whether it be your friends, people you work with, your family, it's really kind of tough for guys. So we do it in different ways. We do it like we might send a friend a link of a song. Dude, check this riff out. This is fucking rad. That's what it is on the surface. But underneath the surface is, dude, I love you. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you that the fact that you're here means something to me, and I don't want you to desert me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to go away because I haven't told you how I feel, but it's hard for us to tell each other how we feel, you know what I mean? Because we're guys, so we'll send links of songs. We'll say, dude, let's go out and get a beer, or let's go to a concert, or dude, check this band out, or come over, let's jam. We have different ways. So my way of doing to kind of do this is with music and with melodies. So I'm really kind of trying to say that with melodies and a piece of music that I wrote. So, like, of course, we're all thinking about Jason today, but I think every single one of you has someone around you who you really want to tell how you feel to them, but it just hasn't happened. And it just hasn't happened. And it probably won't happen. And you don't plan for it to happen, because it's hard. It's hard to really say that. So we do it in different ways, and that's cool. But I'd like for you all to think of those people while I play this song. Think of those people around you that mean something to you. You're glad that they're there for you. like I'm extremely glad that every single one of you is here supporting Jason for this and supporting me and Herman, especially for putting on such a great thing. We have a lot to be thankful for. So just think about those persons, those people around you who you really haven't been able to say it in words to. And maybe there's a way to say it some other way, but think about those people while I play this song called For a Friend. And if that isn't the longest intro to a song you've ever heard.
Make sure you switch that button to have the original sound setting on. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Perfect for the technical thing.
Yeah.
Is it cool now? Are we cool?
1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, we got it. Correct.
Hang on 1 second. Let me make sure my guitar's playing. We cool?
Yeah.
All right. So please think about those people. And this song's called For a Friend.
Hell yeah. That was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Ooh. There's a lot. That was incredible. The bands, the melodies, you know. Sorry, I was making all my guitar faces like I was playing it. Like.
That's nice to see.
Wow, you guys in chat, you guys loved it. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
So many of you, more than 22,000 people now we have. That's incredible.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. A lot of people have been asking, Marty, is Do you remember how Jason came up with the yo-yo trick? How did that came about? Was that because you guys thought they would impress more chicks, or what was the what's the story behind
Probably,
that?
probably. I don't remember how it came about. It's totally something he would do. Um, I'm sure he just did it and everybody liked it and he kept doing it. He also used to do this thing where he played the guitar on his lap. And then at one point he had some girl holding it on his lap. Some girl was holding, I forgot what, some girl was holding it up like this or something, and then he would play it like that or something like that. And yeah, anything, for a laugh, and anything that because let's face it, impressive guitar stuff is really only impressive to other guitar players. So to do something that impresses other people, you kind of have to make it funny. And dude, you know all about it because you've done all kinds. I know you've done something like jumping on trampolines or something. Was that you?
Yeah, jumping on trampoline, playing in the pool with a snorkel, all the silly stuff. Yeah.
I love that stuff. That is so cool. And I think that is just like, really, it's the same kind of spirit because I think all of us, especially who have played guitar for so long, guitar by itself does not float our boat. Something else has to be in the equation. You know what I mean? So I love seeing when you do kind of crazy stuff like that. And Jason really had that same kind of thing. Although I don't know where all those ideas came from. I think we were just like, what can we do that is going to piss off the serious people? That's probably what we thought we were doing.
I have a similar thinking. It's like everyone just say this and that. You know what? We'll do something stupid, and if you guys don't like it, that's even better. So
Yeah.
it's just fun. We have another message actually just came in from Jason right now. So of course Jason is watching this. Thank you, Jason. Hi, Jason. This is a message from Jason right now. I love and appreciate you all beyond words. Marty, you were the perfect older brother, friend, and teacher back in the day. So this is an earlier message, but I'm going to reread it in case you guys missed it. You somehow shared all your wisdom while allowing my creativity to blossom. It was quite amazing how you did that so easily. We still have that kind of relationship musically and personally. You're the greatest friend and teacher I could have ever asked for. I love you, brother. But gotta do it again, man.
Yeah. What a wonderful, wonderful guy. We're so happy to have his music and him. What other, maybe there's some other questions that we haven't really got to some of the folks in the chat.
What other question, you guys?
Or Herman, maybe you have other questions because I know you have a very unique angle from everything that you do. So I'm interested in your questions too.
I mean, I think it's incredible. Hold on, we got some questions coming from the side here. Let me know. Hold on. Some people was asking, how did you end up getting this endorsement deal? Did they just came up to you and say, here's some guitars, we want you to play them, or were you approaching companies and you were turned down and these guys how was it like? What was that?
That's interesting. I don't even remember. I really don't even remember. I don't remember. I remember them taking us to a nice restaurant for dinner. That must have really made a big impact on me. I remember they were like, seriously, like, just like you see in the TV shows, hang out with us kids. We're going to make you guys big stars, stuff like that. And we were eating, order anything you like. We were like eating it up and just loving, because we had no attention from anyone. And of course, Mike Varney was a huge supporter of us, but even Mark Varney sometimes didn't really get and didn't really like what we were doing. Like, I don't know if you know the ending of the song, Speed Metal Symphony. It ends with all this noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
inside that noise, we're doing all this like really super technical, nerdy stuff that if someone explained it, it would be really cool, but it just really sounds like a mountain of garbage, really. But Jason and I were like, this is the best thing ever. We love this dissonant noise. We love it. And Mike Varney was like, oh man, this sucks. I hate it. He would like sweat every time he came to the studio and listened to it. Sure, you guys can't cut this out? It's just so dissonant. He liked the real straight kind of neoclassical type of thing. And I didn't like that. And Jason was like sort of into it, but he was kind of weaning himself off of it. And Varney, like, he loved us, but like he didn't understand the dissonant noise part. And I don't think he really was so into my big Asian thing so much either. I think he was mostly into like when we displayed, finger acrobatics is when he got excited. So we didn't really have a whole lot of people who were constantly blowing sunshine up our sleeves. So when this guitar company came up to us, we were eating it up. We were eating it up, and like we're gonna put out ads for you guys, and we were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we just loved it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I gotta tell you something funny. And to the guys in chat. So, our group, the biggest Dragon Force song and our biggest solo is the one in Through the Fire and Flames. The beginning of my solo, I actually learned that lick from Exotic Metal, from your guitar video, but I played it badly, so I did a bad version of it, and it became one of my biggest solo, actually. Something, it was something like that. Yeah. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah. And then that was, I remember in that video, you did that lick and it said it sounds maybe Chinese, and there was a Chinese guy saying no or something on it. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I remember that. Wow, I'm glad you got something out of that, Yeah, oh brother. That's kind of neat.
There's a very important question. I get this a lot, but I want to ask you, how do you keep your hair so beautiful throughout all these years? Come on. This is very important.
This is the important stuff. Yeah, I really don't do anything. Just don't do things that are damaging to the hair. You know what I mean? Just condition it properly. And a hair has a lot to do with mental and physical health. So if you're in good shape, healthy, your hair is going to be healthy too. If you're like doing cocaine all the time and eating like 7-Eleven all the time, then your hair is going to show it. But if you are in good shape, and no, I like to be in the sun. You just can't stay in the sun so terribly long. Yeah, just don't do anything and don't let it get tangled. Make sure that you take the tangles out of it when you wash it, and that's basically it. Really nothing else to do with it.
Have you do you actually remember when Jason came to you? Did he have long hair or short hair? Was you already have pretty long hair then, or growing it?
I don't remember.
Cool? Did he look like a rock star? Ready to be a rock star? Or did he look dorky?
He didn't look dorky, but he did not look like a rock star. He looked like a kid in school who played guitar. That's what he looked like. He looked like a kid he didn't look like he was even going to be any good. He just looked like a good looking kid. You know what he looked like? When like guys, they play guitar and they're really good looking, so it doesn't fit. Most good guitar players are like kind of weird looking, and they don't look like Tom Cruise or anything. This is how long I've been away from America. I don't even know who the movie stars are anymore. I have no idea who the big movie stars are, but like, and like guitar players, they're too good looking to play guitar.
Yeah.
He looked like a good looking high school kid. Good looking high school kid.
You're too good looking.
You don't need to try.
Yeah.
It's like us dorky looking guys that need to like work hard, but he looked like one of those guys who's too good looking to play guitar. He was just so young and not jaded. He wasn't a rock star at all. Yeah, yeah. He just looked like a regular kid at school.
Let me change the guitar. Let me grab the other one. Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna
Sure,
get
sure.
the one the other Hurricane.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, I'll talk about my guitar setup. This is actually not really any kind of setup at all. This is a little room where I do my demos and editing. So I'm not really set up for any kind of guitar tone at all. I'm just playing with something that works and sounds okay, sounds good. It's a GE 300 from Moore. And sometimes I'll use Amplitude 5 stuff, but it's just a little demo nook in my house. I rarely do any kind of real work in my house, and that's it. And this is, of course, my MF1 from Jackson, which I love these. And why I've never used a Floyd Rose, and I've never used a tremolo really, except on that guitar right there, that white guitar. It all comes back to me. That white guitar on the song called Dragon Mistress. For some odd reason, I wanted to use a tremolo bar on one little part. So I took that guitar that Herman has right now, and I did a little tremolo thing on it. And boy, do I suck at tremolos. It's just never, it never appealed to me. It was never something I thought I needed to have to express myself in music. But in this one part, I wanted one in the song. So I'm like, dude, give me this. If Jason did the tremolo part, it would come out too good. It would sound like it would sound like somebody else. But I used that guitar on Dragon's Mistress. Towards the end, I remember I did a tremolo thing. So if you maniacs know the song, go listen to it and you'll hear some really sucky tremolo playing. That's me.
But this also made it into your solo album, that means.
Yes. That's it did.
So it's this is on Perpetual Burn, and I don't remember your first solo album name anymore.
Yes.
Dragon's Kiss.
Yes.
There you go. Should we play a bit of this guitar? Bring this to life.
All right. Why don't we play some blues?
We can try some blues. I'll be terrible at it, but we're gonna do it.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, and that funky groove one, I'm up for that too. I think it'll be quite fun.
I forgot. I have to do this again. Here we go.
Yeah. So this track is at the bottom of the list. I added them earlier. You can do the blues. Is 43 or 42 is the funk one. Make sure you enable the original sound setting. So.
All right.
I hear myself.
Dude, I like it. You know your thing, man. Here, are we good now?
1, 2. 1, 2. Yes.
1, 2. Yes. All right, let's rock it, brother. Hang on 1 second. This isn't it.
I'm gonna start first because I'm pretty bad at it. I don't want to go after you straight away.
You're too. Let's go fast. This guy's really good. Whoever it is, this guy's really good. Rock it, brother.
Oh, perfect. I
He
don't
cut
have
out
to.
us.
I don't have to butcher it anymore. It's
He
going-
cut out on us again.
I was going, I'm gonna destroy this song so bad and butcher this up. It's like, oh, saved, it stopped. I had to change
No, man,
guitar
you did great.
because there was no frets left on that white guitar.
There's no frets left?
It's like almost playing flat frets, you know.
Oh my God.
That's from playing too much cacophony and stuff, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah, he did play that guitar, man. He'd play it.
You want to do track number, the flamenco one? You interested in doing that?
Sure. What number is that?
25.
You want to rock it first? Go
Yes,
for
let
it.
me grab a guitar. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I got some
Hell
questions.
yeah. I like the way they just end these things.
You got it perfect. I got some questions for you. You want to press the echo button?
Okay.
Great. Right. So I got some questions that came in, so we able to filter some out so I can read them. What is Jason's sense of humor like? That's something I want to know too.
Jason's sense of humor is it's kind of similar to mine. Neither of us are politically correct at all. And I'm a smart enough person to keep that stuff out of public because some people, for whatever reason, and it's fine, they tend to judge people on their character rather the content of their work. And of course, my character and Jason's character are very nice, but there are some people out there who have different senses of humor and they might be turned off to crude humor. But basically, speaking for myself anyway, and also probably Jason, we're both 16-year-old schoolboys at heart. And all of that stuff that might be considered politically incorrect these days, for us, is just very normal, funny stuff. So sense of humor is very big with Jason. He's a hilarious person. And we both were just right in line with it's kind of crude stuff. It's kind of he's not afraid to go deep when it comes to crude stuff. And I'm the same exact way. But I think there's something that's a little bit, I don't like a trend that's happening, whereas there's a lot of consumers out there who are kind of cutting off their own noses to spite their faces because they like someone's music, but then when they find out this person is this way or that way or has this kind of political things, then they stop enjoying that person's music. And that's just such a shame. So I really, when it comes to music and people I'm a fan of, I try to keep it all on the surface and enjoy the music because that's what I enjoy. I don't care what their sense of humor is. And but Jason's sense of humor is hilarious. And we used to rag on each other all of the time ragging on each other. We like different football teams. He liked the 49ers and I liked the Redskins. And we would just say the most evil things about each other's teams. But that's normal. It's very normal. So I think we were just, and still now, complete schoolboys, barnyard humor and all that stuff. And I hope I'm not shaming my bro, but we're both in the same boat.
This is an interesting question I'm going to ask you is, well, look, I never get any gifts from anyone in my band and I've never given them any gifts, but did you ever get any gifts from Jason or any weird gifts you received from Jason or from a fan? You seen, Jason receive a gift from a fan, gifts, I don't know.
Gifts?
From Japan, maybe?
You get a lot of gifts and it comes to a point where even crazy stuff doesn't sound crazy anymore. There's one story about the Cacophony tour, which I definitely can't say in public. I would love to say it in public.
Yeah, that's the good
but
stuff.
I definitely can't. No, really, we got tons of gifts, especially from Japan's, a lot of dolls of us and stuff and posters and pictures and artwork and guitars and all the same old thing, signing tits and all that stuff. And nothing's really crazy. And I remember one thing, I was on stage somewhere and somebody threw a sandwich on stage. That I kind of remember. I don't. And Jason and I don't know if we gave each other any gifts or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never give band members, gifts. It's kind of, like you said earlier before you play that song, guys don't really give each other, gifts either, Kind of a.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. No, no.
So I gotta ask you this, right? Um, I want to know your side of the story because it's probably going to be quite funny. Um, Michelangelo said to me when you guys were touring around the same time as Nitro, and somehow your singer was drawing over the Nitro posters, doing weird whatever, making the band members look a certain way. Do you remember anything from that?
Not in the slightest. And that's not a very nice thing to do. But I wouldn't, it's something that all of us might have done, when we were little kids, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, they were asking for it because the way they dressed, they looked ridiculous back then. So I would have done it. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember on that tour, Scorpions came on stage with us, not the band, and actual spiders came on stage while we were playing, and it kind of freaked us out. I remember that. Man, those were some good times, man. There was this radio station called Z-Rock, and the whole band went in there, and we like took over the station for a couple hours, and man, it was just like being rock stars. I mean, it was such good fun, and we were all coming out of our shells, and it was the first time we'd ever really played out of our home state as a band, and we were going around and disc jockeys, and there was always cute chicks at the radio stations, and we were like probably the same way as any of those hair bands were back in the day, and just a lot of fun, man, a lot of goofing off, and when it came time to play, we were really focused, but the rest of the day we were just like regular teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Was making the album like the homework, and then after you've done the homework, you can go out and play? Was that kind of
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah, exactly.
Great.
I mean, we took the albums extremely seriously, extremely living and breathing those records. And we just put everything of ourselves into the music. So there was no slacking around then. But when you're on tour and you've got everything down, all you have to do is play and have fun,
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And chat, by the way, you guys, next Friday, we do have Mike Varney coming on the show. So there will be some funny stories from him too. I'm sure.
Oh, that's going to be so great. He's a great storyteller, and he's got all the stories of everybody, and he remembers things that a lot of us don't remember. So he's a super, super guy. I'm going to have to tune in for that.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to play a bit more music? I really enjoy hearing you just improvise on the spot like this. And yeah.
Whatever, man. Pick one.
Let's do something happy. Track number 14. Kind of a
happy
G major power ballad kind of thing.
Let's be happy. What number is it?
Number 14. So make sure you turn the echo cancellation thing back off.
All right.
I can start this one.
Are we cool now? Are we cool?
Hello? Yep.
Hello?
Sounds good.
Rock it, bro. Oh, this is happy. song ended.
Yeah. Ooh.
They just stop out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah, I know. That's why I've done these tracks enough, so I realized I gotta do a shorter solo so you go in, you know. So sorry for the confusion.
I wasn't watching you play. I was like looking somewhere else, and I heard you stop. Yeah, man, that was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah. Fun. How much time you got?
I don't have a lot of time. I'm actually going to do an Instagram live for a Finland magazine coming up shortly. I think it's called Chaos, Kaos or something like that. Really cool folks in Finland. So I guess if you're on Instagram, check that out. But if there's a couple more questions, maybe we can tie this up somehow with like some questions out there in the comments there. And top 3 Japanese foods. I love sushi. Duh. Living in Japan, sushi, you can never get tired of sushi. And I like any kind of Japanese noodles. And my all-time favorite is definite eel, unagi. Kobe beef, yes, fantastic. So much great food here, it's hard to choose.
Definitely.
Well, here the questions are coming really fast. They're coming really fast.
You just opened the floodgate.
Just open the floodgate, yeah. Say something about Dragon's Kiss. It was a good start. It was all right. Favorite song of Jason's and why? Favorite song of Jason's and why? I think I liked Altitudes maybe the best because it had such a wonderful theme. The melody was really nicely worked out. And I believe, if I'm thinking the right song, it had a wonderful key modulation at the end. Dun 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 dun. I don't know if it's the same song. That whole album was great. Can't pick a favorite. Were we recording a third Cacophony record? No. We had some new songs actually written. After our tour, we had written a bunch of songs. We got very inspired. We played with a lot of cool bands on that tour. Black metal, yes, I like it very much. I like a lot of that black metal stuff. The vocals are kind of touch and go, but I love the music and a lot of black metal stuff. New Japanese rock metal. I just did a video on that, so go look on YouTube. I did a video explaining, introducing like some of my favorite Japanese rock and metal bands and artists, so check that out. Favorite Dragon Force song, the one where Herman plays that lick that he got from the Exotic Metal video. That's the one.
Good answer.
How was Triumphant Hearts to make? It was wonderful because Jason gave me the most beautiful spot on the record. I mean, he wrote the most beautiful melody in the title song, and I got to play that melody on the key change. And for all you guitar players and musicians out there, whoever gets to play the solo melody on the key change, that's the most beautiful part of the song. That's the peak. So whoever is soloing at that point, that's the most delicious point of the song. So he gave that to me, so I will always be thankful for that. Unreleased Cacophony stuff. There are some jams that Jason and I did, mostly blues jams. And I think I've seen bootlegs of these things, but I don't know much about it. Cacophony demos, yes, I'm sure. I haven't heard them since making them, but they exist, I'm sure. Right-hand technique. My right-hand technique is not something that can be learned by mere mortals. My right-hand technique comes from doing a lot of this. That's the only way to get it. And that's not something I want to watch you practice. But no, I would not recommend it. There's really no correlation to the music that I make in this right hand technique. It's just, it doesn't help, it doesn't hurt, it's just there. Other things that don't matter with music, gauge of strings, size of frets, doesn't matter. What matters is the content of the music. So save your energy asking about those things, because anything will work. Kind of pick does not matter. Way you hold your hand does not matter. No. The last thing I would want to be is like Marty Friedman. He's the ergonomic guitar player. You got to think about these things. How do you want to be described? Do you want to be so-and-so? He's super accurate. There's a lot of great accurate people. You want to have your own thing, every single person. So like trying to find the most ergonomic or most economical way to do things, it can take a lot of energy away from actually trying to make music. So don't put too much thought into those things. Favorite song from Scenes, just played the whole thing in a concert. I like all of it. I could have done some things better, but for back then it was pretty good. Favorite Japanese guitar players, there's a lot of really good ones. Guy in my band is super, Naoki Morioka. Oka Satoshi is sick. The guy's a sick guitar player. We did one show together. I love his playing. Obviously, a lot of you guys know Omura Takayoshi. He's super. Komaguchi Yuya has also played some shows with me. He's super. A lot of super guys over here. Really great players. Best moment of being on tour. It's always great. I just did a tour of Japan. I just finished a tour. It was fantastic. I can't wait to go and play for all of you guys in all of your home countries. It was the best. We got through 7 shows, no problems, none of that stuff. How did I first start playing? Favorite Metallica song? I love the first album and I love the Black Album, and I love a lot of the other stuff, Master of Puppets, all that stuff. A little bit of trivia. In Japan, the Master of Puppets album is actually called Metal Master. You heard it here first.
Marty, can you press the echo cancellation button on? Yeah. Great. So.
Are we cool now?
Yep.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm just rattling off these questions, and as soon as like they dry up, that's when I'm gonna leave.
They caught you. Once you open the floodgate, you have to learn to ignore.
Favorite Tokyo Jukebox songs? I love all the songs, but my favorite is Makinaide because Jason is in the video. Go watch the video. Jason did such a sweet cameo in that thing. The song's called Makinaide from Tokyo Jukebox 3. Jason did something very special for it. He didn't just like phone it in. He did something really cool for the video. So just watch that video.
Yeah.
Ever meet Dimebag? Yes. Toured with Pantera back in the Megadeth days. We did quite a few tours with them. He was a super guy, super guitarist. Just like Herman, totally chill, totally casual, absolutely no ego problems, just like fun to be with, fun to jam with. So he's like Herman, like Jason, and a lot of guys that I really like. Do you like Baby Metal? Yes, very much. Favorite Queen song? Got to be Somebody to Love. That's such a beautiful song. Great solo, great song. Listen to that song with headphones and your life will change. My drummer on tour, Chargy, unbelievable. Love him very much. He's been in my touring band for 10 years. Got a shout out to Anup Sastry, who's done my records for the last 6 years and toured with me. Tanahashi, yes, favorite wrestler of all time. And what else we got? Japan X, I assume you mean X Japan. Love X Japan. Fan of Chris Poland, yes, super guitarist. Oh my God. Eggs not on the menu. Man, they're really coming fast.
Don't worry, you don't have to answer them all. I can save you.
Man with a Mission. Fantastic. Love them. Polyphia, toured with them in Asia. Tim Henson, super guitarist. The whole band is on fire. Love those guys. Arion, I played a solo on their record. Very interesting stuff and a super guy to work with. Easy to jam with. Will I ever have a Kelly model with my name on it? It does exist. Kiyoshi, oh my God. Those of you who know Kiyoshi in my band, she's in my touring band and played on my last bunch of records. Super bass player, gorgeous girl, unbelievable player. Really just an amazing bassist. Go look up Kiyoshi, and you'll hear her all over Tokyo Jukebox 3, Wall of Sound, the live album. She's there. And I just am so blown away by her playing. Who else? Favorite book series? Oddly enough, I'm not a big book reader at all. I've read a couple biographies, and that's it. Bandmate, yes, Bandmate is fantastic. Thank you. My band is fantastic too. I love them. Do I watch anime? Not that much. I watched Be the Beginning because I had to write the title song for it, and that was a nice long anime. It was very good. Why did I choose Jackson? Because they rule. How long do you practice? I only practice when there's a specific goal. Like, for example, I just had this big orchestral concert last week, and I practiced my tail off for that thing, learning all of this classical music, which is not my, it's not my expertise. So I had to practice really, really hard for that. And I'm actually going to write a piece on how I practiced for that because it was kind of unusual. So we're going to get one last question here. One last question. So I'm going to wait for a good question and I'm going to answer it. There's got to be a good one here. One last question, and then I'm going to bid you farewell. Okay, 11 Blue Egyptians. We're going to end this on a Jason note. 11 Blue Egyptians. Now I remember because we're talking about Jason. The reason it's 11 is because this is one of Jason's songs, and I might have co-written, I forgot. Jason had a section in the song that's in 11/8 or 11/4. Neither of us were really that totally musical when it comes to sheet music. So we thought it was in 11/8. Maybe it is. Maybe you musicologists out there know what it is. Anyway, there was a section that was playing in 11. So that's where the 11 came out. And then there's a section at the end that we're playing the blues. So that's where the blues is. And that was like, it was blues, but I mean, it was kind of cacophony blues, if you know what I mean. It was not, neither of us were like growing up on the bayou playing real blues. I'm telling you that much right now. But we played fun blues. And the Egyptian part was the main theme of the song is kind of Egyptian. So that's why Jason called it 11 Blue Egyptians. And I think I played a bunch of solos and we did blues trade-offs and had a lot of fun. So thank you very, very much for coming. And thank you, Herman. You are the best. You are the best for doing this. I mean it. I mean it. This really was something that it takes a ton of energy to do. And I will support you forever for doing this. And of course, we've been friends forever before this, but I'm blown away. It takes a lot of balls and a lot of energy to do this. And just thank you for doing it.
Thank you,
Big
Marty.
love from me.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you. And thank you, everybody else. I'm going to sign off right now. We all love Jason very much. Keep his support going. Keep listening to his music. And we're all waiting for him to come and jam with us. Are you guys ready for that? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you.
Thanks, Herman.
We'll see you.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.